Well, that's very sad to say the least. I just read that Alexey Navalny, the Russian opposition leader, has died in prison. I guess that's what you get for opposing Putin and his nasty, vicious, brutal regime. You drink the wrong kind of tea, you go out of a window, or you die in prison. Meanwhile, Israel continues its foul atrocities, its brutal campaign of collective punishment in Gaza. 15,000 children dead so far, maybe 20,000 when you consider the ones lying dead in rubble, their corpses being consumed by rats, cats and dogs. Of course, it's not just Gaza. Settlers, aided by the military, have killed, I think, 400 Palestinians at least in the West Bank since, I'm not sure if it's since the beginning of this year or since October, but anyway, we mustn't lose sight of what they're doing in the West Bank. The grimness continues elsewhere. Myanmar, various other places around the world. And this may not seem as grave to some of you or connected, but we run the risk of Trump becoming president in America again, a man who has sworn to take revenge on his enemies. And it's blood-curdling to think what that might mean, isn't it? Grim. Would that be the end of American democracy? I guess we might find out if the man comes to power again. Anyway, all of this is to say that as we enter another weekend, the spectre of fascism, authoritarianism, and general... I was going to use a bad word there, but I won't. Those spectres are looming, and we must do all we can to oppose that, be that at the family level, the community level, or the national level. Call out bigotry, bullying, fascism, racism, homophobia, other kinds of prejudice where you see them. A lot of elections this year, vote the right people in. Maybe it will involve, as in America, holding your nose and voting for the lesser of two evils. I recently compared Biden to Trump to being like a competition, or like being like the offer of one excrement sandwich or two. It's not a great choice, but you just might have to elect Butcher Biden, Genocide Joe, to avoid getting something even worse. Because let's face it, how great would Trump likely have been on the whole Israel thing? He'd have probably given them carte blanche to go even further. Because it's not just Biden, is it? It's the whole Western establishment, media and political class. New Zealand, Australia, Canada, and I forget which other country have just asked Israel to immediately stop what it's doing, but that's too little too late, isn't it? They could have done that 2 weeks ago when the ICJ rendered their judgment that plausibly Israel is committing genocide. So whether it's Biden or Trump, they're going to be foul on the whole Gaza, Israel, Palestine issue. But at least Joey B, Butcher Biden, Genocide Joe probably won't cancel American democracy as we know it. In the UK, you've got spineless Starmer or tax-dodging Sunak. It really is grim, isn't it? I wish I had something more fun. I live in Thailand. I wish I was one of those cats who could be on the beach showing you drone footage of the beach and the mountains behind it, and isn't life lovely? Blah blah blah, la-di-da-di-da, nicey nicey nice. Here's a nice cafe with cats in it. Toodle doodle do. But I don't see the world that way. Call that a function of being depressed from age 16, but I can't just ignore all this crap. Even if I could afford to take trips around Thailand and take drone footage of places and all of that, I wouldn't feel right just ignoring all of this foulness, all of this vileness. But that seems to be the way it is. Most people just want to ignore it, just want to pretend it's not going on. And that's why I think, that's why I don't know if I'll ever go back to my country again, because no one there seems to have a heart, a soul, a conscience to speak out about what's going on. Man, if I could throw away my passport and get a... This is going to kind of be controversial with the black South Africans want to kill all white South Africans crowd, but if I could throw away my passport and get a South African one or a Norwegian one, because they damn sure didn't cancel the UNRWA funding when all the rest of the ghouls did, you know, or passport of another country that's got a moral compass, I just might, because my country, the UK, disgusting, foul, vile. I want nothing to do with a nation of people who can quite rightly kick up a stink about a post office scandal where people go to jail because of faulty software, as was the case recently. Faulty software that indicated they might have committed fraud and they hadn't, and people went to jail and committed suicide and all kinds of things, and it was horrible. But that involved, I don't know, 50 or 100 people, one or two sadly taking their lives, but that dominated the Western media for or the English media for a week or two. Gaza, they can't even, the Western media can't even bring itself to report on the findings of the ICJ. The BBC will show the Israelis defending themselves at the International Court, but they won't show South Africans putting their case. The BBC showed, they didn't show the first day when South Africa presented its case against Israel. They showed the whole of the second day when Israel presented its defense. So that's the West. That's the Western media, most of it. Western people generally are selfish, myopic, and don't care. I don't know where I belong in this world. I clearly don't belong here in Thailand, where I can't master the language, and I'll forevermore be known as a Farang and made to report my address every 3 months, even though I'm married to a Thai person, and blah blah yada yada. But I don't belong back home in my country either, so I'm not sure I want to hop on board Elon's flight to Mars, but I don't feel like I belong on this planet anymore. Anyway, that's 7.5 minutes of old waffling crap. Don't know why I upload these. I think it's cathartic more than anything. And I'm waiting for my wife and son to get home. My wife from work, my son from school. Have a nice weekend. If you watched all of this, then you're me.